Good evening, brothers, sisters, and gender norm resistors. It's time for another Workshop Wednesday in Blender with me, your host, Olaf. Welcome. Yes, we are going to be back in Blender. We're going to be actually working on some stuff from the Outer Worlds. I've got a few ideas on various different stuff that we can do that's going to be a lot of fun. Basically, today we're just going to be working on some of the smaller boxes. They're still going to be kind of tricky. They are still kind of tricky things as far. They've got a few tricky little pieces to them. So let's go ahead and jump into Blender and get things started, shall we? So here we are. We're going to go ahead and shrink down the shading tab, and we can go ahead and shrink down our environment tab for right now. So we got a lot of room to work with. So I've already got it set up with not one, not two, but three different crates that we can make. So we'll go ahead and start off with number one. Now these are set up so that the front is in the front orthographic view. The side is set up properly for the side, and the top is set for the top. So yeah, we are pretty much good to go as far as adding stuff in and starting our work. Now I think we're gonna start off with a cube. And we're actually going to start off with the corners. So we're going to say grab you on the X, grab you, or the Z, grab you on the X. We want you kind of over here, and we want you about there. But we also want you on the Y. We want you like right up here. So that looks like it's going to be just fine. Now we're going to go ahead and apply the scale. So that is set up within 3D space. Okay, our this one is a little bit off as far as being set up quite right. But there we go. I mean, it doesn't need to be set up perfectly. It's just kind of giving us the idea of it. So yeah, with that cube set up, we need to go into our edge. No, not that one. We want to actually select that. So we're going to go into the edge. Now it's kind of interesting because it's actually squared off on the inside. It's like it's been cut off. So there's actually only 3 edges that we need to bevel, and it's these 3 outer edges here. And we're going to bevel those. We're going to give it a lot of subdivisions. Because this should just kind of like... So we're going to say, yeah, about there. We're going to go ahead and give it 9 subdivisions. And we should be good there. Now, the tricky part is these curves on the these bigger curves on the inside. And we could try a few different things, like we could say, okay, so it's this edge that needs to be curved, this edge that needs to be curved, and basically these 3 inner edges. So we could say we bevel those. We're gonna apply the clipping so that it's just there, and then adjust the shape so that it kind of curves in. And then see if we can't get it to there. So that actually might work. That might work. So we want to go into vertex. We want to merge by distance because we're going to have some overlapping vertices because of how much we brought that in. And we want to go to the object. We want to say object, shade auto smooth. And you know, that looks pretty good. I mean, the shape is a bit off. because it does have a little bit of, so it would be more like that, because there is like a small little piece that's just kind of like hey, it just goes straight to a flush there. So that might actually work a bit better. We don't have to worry about any overlapping vertices or anything. Now, just to make our lives a little bit easier, we're going to go ahead and add in a fresh material. We're just going to make it metallic, and we're going to say a 0.4 on the shininess. So that should be good. Now, we want this on all the corners. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to say set the origin back to the 3D cursor, because the 3D cursor is in the center of everything that we're going to make. And then we can say generate a mirror modifier. We do it on the X, we do it on the Y, and we do it on the Z, and now we've got all those corners. Now, we're not terribly worried about how it's going to interact with the things, because once we add in another cube, that's going to be all right. Because then once we get into editing and stuff, we can adjust those, we can bevel those corners. So we're gonna go ahead and make sure that these are in just collection 1. We're gonna relabel that one corners, and we're gonna make this the crate. So now we've got a few of the more interesting details to work on here. So we're gonna go ahead and take this to a wireframe. And we're going to come into the faces. We're going to say drop in an edge there. Drop in a subdivision right about there. And we're actually going to go ahead and do these two as well. Or these 3, I guess I should say. So that's going to give us edges on all the inset pieces, all the pieces that we need to cut out. But we also need to, say, create one about in the center of here. And now we're just going to say do this with a bevel, but we're going to do it a 1-set bevel. So that looks about right. Might need to take it down a little bit. Let's just grab on the Z there. Now we're going to say take these 3. We want the full bevel, and then the full edge, then we're going to pull these out to the outer edge there. And then we're going to grab these 2, and we're going to bevel those out to the edge there. So there's kind of our starting point. Now we do want to add in another ring cut here at the top of this one. So that gives us, basically kind of gives us our set. I mean, I don't think there's much more cuts that we need to do. I mean, we'll need to make cuts for the top and bottom of these smaller pieces here, but for now, we're pretty good. So we can go into face mode, select these faces. So those are where those cut-in bands are going to be. And we're going to say Alt-E, extrude along normals, and we're just going to bring it in a ways. And we're going to say, we're going to keep the offset even. Now, we're bringing it in a lot more than needs to be, kind of for a reason. So we're going to want to actually, no, we're going to want to deselect those edges there. And we're going to want to add in these edges up here. So There, and nope, not that one. That one, yes. So that one, and that one, and this one, and this one. So now we want to say bevel that. And the bevel's going the wrong way, but we can change that back to a 0.5, the standard. And then we want to take it all the way up. We want it all the way up. I just realized I forgot to deselect these two edges, so there we go. Now that looks much better. So now we want to say, we want to take, well, we can sit here and we can say, okay, we're going to scale that on the Y. Well, okay. Let's get rid of these. We're going to take faces, and we're going to get rid of those faces. We're going to get rid of these two faces. Now, if we scale on the Y, we're still kind of pushing in because we want to get rid of all of these faces and all of those faces. So now we can say scale on the Y, and we can basically shrink those faces in. So now I want to say get rid of that, and we want, okay, so we are on edge, so we're going to grab that on the Y, and we're going to take it straight up to that edge. So now it's perfectly circular, it's perfect, it's just what we want. So we want everything here. Nothing extra, good. And we want to grab on the Y, control to clip, and then to there. And we want to take these without any of that. And we want to say, grab that on the Z. And we're just going to kind of bring it down. See, we want it as close to this as we can get. There we go. All right. So again, we need to go into vertex mode and dissolve by distance, because all of them along this front edge are just like, yeah, they're straight up going to be a hassle. But if we come in here and we say, take a look at the textured, we say smooth auto flat. Now we've got those lovely little divots in there. They're cut in. They're looking just perfect. Just perfect. Now, the benefit of doing it that way is that when we come in here and we say edge, and if we say grab that edge, we're grabbing everything. It's just, everything's just straight together, and then we can bevel that up to whatever we need in order to get it past this, past these corner points here. But we're not quite there yet. We've got a lot more stuff to do. Well, not necessarily a lot, but we've got more stuff to do. So we want to say put in a ring cut right about here. And a ring cut right about here. Ring cut right about here. Ring cut right about here. And then a ring cut in the center. Now we're going to just say grab this on the Z just to make sure that everything is aligned properly. Grab Z, align it to there. So yeah, grab on the Z. Okay, we're just gonna grab this and grab on the Z to there. Grab on the Z to there. Now, why are you telling me that that's so much higher? That doesn't make any sense. Because, yeah, those... Alright, let's grab both of you. Grab on the Z here. Grab you on the Z there. Maybe, okay, the picture may be a little bit off as far as height and stuff, so it may be kind of, that may be what's causing us to be a little bit wonky. But now we want to take our faces. We want to say take you and you and you, and we're going to Alt-E, extrude along normals, but we want you maybe into there. Why do we not have that one? All right, Alt-E, extrude along normals, 0.1 negative. Now that should be just fine. That should be actually in more than deep enough for what we need to do. So now we need to add in our edges. Make sure we can hit the right edges. And there. Oh, okay, okay. Not a problem, not a problem, not a problem, not a problem. We'll go ahead and just say grab all those edges, and we're actually going to deselect all of those. So now if we hit Control B, we can bevel those into perfect ovoids as well. Come back to textured view. Everything's looking good. Everything is looking good and solid. Now we're going to go ahead and say this as the same type material. And we do want to say take this edge, take these edges here, because all of that is actually going to be a very different color. So we want to make sure that everything is circled around there, and we're going to mark that edge as a seam, because if you look at this, that is a much darker color than everything else. Very important. This is going to save us a lot of time and a lot of headache later if we mark our scenes so that we can just grab whatever's within that scene. So, for example, with that seam marked, we can come into the faces and we can just hover over one of the faces here, hit L, and grab everything that's linked within that seam. So we want to say new assign. We're going to say, yes, same settings as the before, but we're going to take this down to like a 0.2. So if we look at the object, now that is a much darker metal. Now, I don't know. I don't see if that's the thing. You know, that's the problem with with looking at these models. You can't really tell. Like with this one, you can't really tell if those look like they just like straight up curve in, like they're massive curvatures in. But they might, I guess they might be just like inset. But if they're the same as these top ones, it's like, no, they're very much, they curve inward all the way around. Speaking of those top ones, we need to get those. We need to make those. So we're going to say, grab this one and this one. Now, if we just hit E, it'll take those down, but it'll leave these weird pieces there, which we don't want. If we hit Alt E along normal, same thing. So if we, I just realized my screencast keys are all right, and there we go. So there we go. But, so to get that set up right, we want to hit Alt E and we want to say extrude manifold. Now as we pull it down, it creates a bridge. It creates a connection there. So that if we go to the edge, we can easily select that edge, no problem. Everything is still connected. It's just, yeah, it's just that we don't have that weird like front piece there, which is just, yeah, it can be annoying as hell. So if we say bevel U, and boom, we can bevel that perfectly. Now we can grab on the Z up to there. And we have our runners along the top as well. So we've got runners along the top, we've got runners along the sides and bottom. Yes, this is looking grand. Now, because we did that, we also want to merge by distance. That's going to get rid of these vertices here. It's also going to get rid of any of the same vertices in the front pieces. So now, we need to make sure that we have everything looking the same front and back. If we hit Q and mirror, that will make it a perfect mirror image. You can set it up yourself, or if you have, I think it's Hard Ops, that makes it way easier. It makes it way easier. Like, holy crap, it makes it easier. So now we want to come into these edges. We want to say this edge. And we're just going to hit Control to this. Control to that. Control to the middle. And Control up to here. And we've got that all selected. So if we hit Control to there, Control to there, hit this. Basically, Control selects through to a specific target. It tries to pick the best path. Sometimes it doesn't pick the best path, but usually it's pretty decent. It's pretty decent. So now we want to say mark that as a seam as well, because again, that's going to be the darker material. As you can tell by the top view. So we can go ahead and go to the faces, say link, material 1, assign. And that's looking good. So now we just need our options on the side. So we're going to go ahead and apply that mirror. Look at it from the side view. Go back into the wireframe mode. And we're going to try and pick a couple of... So I think that will be where we want it. So if we say inset that, we can bring it down. Let's center. So we're actually going to want to bring you down on the Z axis. scale you a bit up on the Z a bit. So about there, looks good. Now we're going to scale you on the Y-axis in. Again, we're not, again, the anytime you grab a screen picture or something like that, it's going to be, you know, you're never guaranteed to get just the right angles and everything's perfectly and set and stuff like that. So now we want to hit, well, actually, we can just do an E to extrude and bring it in a ways. And now we can go back to textured mode to make it easier to grab. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. Okay, so yeah, that's, let's grab, no, I want the edges, because there's an edge here that really doesn't need to be. And if we dissolve that, we'll be good. I'm not going to worry about doing it on the other side because we're gonna use the same trick as far as doing the what's the term I'm looking for? We're going to use the same trick as we did with the mirror modifier. That we're gonna adjust it using the mirror. We're gonna do it all across the board with the mirror modifier. So now scale on the Y into about here. Now we're gonna say E to extrude it back. Now we're gonna grab the edges here, and wow, it's really difficult to see with that, so we're just gonna do texture there and to grab the corners. And now we're gonna go back into wired view, because as we bevel that, we want to make sure that we're getting kind of what we need. Okay, so we may want to bring that in a little bit as far as the Y. So scale on the Y. We actually want to leave it out a ways. Now extrude. We're just going to go to solid mode, collect those edges. Back to 3, go back to wireframe mode. We're going to bevel those. All right, fine. We'll bring it a ways in on the Y. Why not? Because it's just, yeah, this is just kind of being a bit of a pain. So solid, go to edge. We're going to collect that edge, that edge, that edge, and that edge. Now see, we're going to take the look at the bevel here, and we're going to play around with this. Play around with the shape a bit, so we want it about like there, I think. That should be good. I'm gonna go ahead and bump this up to 12 just to give it a really nice smooth look. And now we can grab this on the X and move it in. It doesn't really need to be that deep. It doesn't look like it's that terribly deep. That looks about as deep as it goes. Maybe a little bit deeper. Now, just to make sure, we're gonna. Yeah, I was gonna say. I thought we had some vertices that were kind of giving us trouble. Now we're gonna mirror it from this side to that side, and we've got this. And we actually want to take this edge there, and we're going to say edge, mark seam, because we want to take this face, we're going to link everything, and we're going to say make you material 2. So now we've got that done nice and well. So now I think we're pretty much done with all the mirrors. So we're gonna apply all the modifiers. All one modifier. Ooh. See, those do seem a bit deeper than they need to be. So let's pull out this. No, I want to pull this. No, I don't want to pull that out. I want to pull that out, yes. Because I want the circle select. So I'm going to say all of these here. So see, we want all of these. Oh, nope, not on that one. On this one. There we go. Yes. That's better. Yeah, that was... I don't know why I was choosing that one. So, do a little bit of cleanup here. Grab all of these. Do a little bit of cleanup. Grab all of these. Down here. Clean up around the edge. And, oh, missed a couple. Always go over it afterwards and make sure that you've got it cleaned up properly. That you've got everything that you need, everything that you're wanting. I mean, I suppose I could say, actually, you know what? We could say, let's do box select. We could just say, tap that, tap this. That gets it all the way around. We're going to go back on the other side, on the back side, do the same thing. And then we're going to say, you guys, we want to say edge, mark seam. And now we can say, nope, got to go into face mode. Select that. I'm going to grab on the Y, and we want to bring those in right up so that they're flush. And we're going to come through here, and we're going to say linked. You always want to make sure to tap again, just because otherwise it's going to act real funky. It's not going to deselect anything from the back, which is a problem. All right, now that we've got that up, let's merge by distance again. So we've got all that. Cool. Now we need to take these faces, and we need to insert along normals into right there. Because this is actually inset quite a ways. Now we want to say offset even so that it's all squared away. Now we want to, but it's going to bring everything in a little bit. So there we go. So now everything is even. Everything's nice and even across the board. If we go into object mode, there's no shading artifacts that I can see. I mean, other than, you know, these little knobs are kind of sticking out a bit, but hey. So now we're going to want all of these outer edges selected. Because there is a little bit of... It does kind of sort of curve around those edges, but not as much as like the corner pieces. So if we say bevel, we're just gonna put a little bit of a bevel like about there, I think. Well, that's as far as it'll go. So that's what we're gonna do. Now vertices, make sure we don't have any overlapping vertices. All right. Now, if we say, I want to go ahead and generate a bevel of, say, 9. Now, as you can see, it really does. Let's go into object mode so you can really see it. So, yeah, it does add a little bit. It's not doing a whole lot. It's not like major, but it is adding just a little bit of a bevel on those edges so that they're not perfectly 90 degrees. Now it is giving us a few shading artifacts like up in here, but if we say harden normals, that should clear it up. So now we need to come into here, say all, grab on the Z up to a. We want it basically just so that it is just covering those corners. So we want that corner basically just covered by that. So grab you on the Y, grab you on the X, grab you on the Z. That should be lined up perfectly. So now, see, now we've got those corners. Because we didn't apply that mirror modifier yet, it's doing just fine. So now we've got a really nice cover. You know, we've got reinforced corners. You know, maybe we should. You know what? Let's redo that. Let's redo those real quick. So I'm gonna go ahead and redo those now that we've got that, so that we can kind of get similar. So that we can get kind of similar. We can try to get similar. Similar corners. So bring you out to here. And that looks good. All right, so now we want to take this, wait, first things first, apply the scale. Now we want to take this edge, this edge, this edge, and we want to say bevel you guys so that you've got about the same curvature. Now we want to grab the interior ones. And we want to say bevel you guys, but we actually want you at a negative bevel. So I think it's 0.0855 is a perfect circle there. And then we can go ahead and bring you guys in so that you're just kind of, yeah. So that you're just kind of there. See, we've got a little bit, we've still got a little bit of shading issues on this one, and for that, we're actually going to try using an edit and a weighted normal. So a weighted normal will help determine where the actual normal weights are, so that it's not just like, oh hey, yeah, we are just, you know. So all right, so the edge that we created, we want to take it from there up to here. And we're going to need to do this on all of these because that's created a new, you know, a whole new set of edges there. Because otherwise it's going to look really weird because it's kind of flowing from the dark to the light texture, and that's just, that's going to look really funky. So we're going to go ahead and say edge, mark seam. Now if we say take these, take this and this, take that and that, and if we say we want to assign you to the dark material. Now see, that's, I don't know. That's kind of tricky because it's like, I mean, that's... Well, let's try lowering this down to like 0.001. 0.0001? Oh, wait, because that's not the... Right, because that's not the one that's providing this. This was done by that bevel. So let's try this and say, what if we say refuse? I don't know how I don't know what I prefer. I don't know what I prefer. You know what? Let's select everything that isn't. So there. Now if we say select invert, we can just say, hey, assign that straight to that material. That looks more like what they did, because if you look, there is a silver all along that edge. So that looks like what they did. So okay, that's better. Now here we want to say shade auto smooth. I actually do want to go ahead and put a small bevel on that. I'm going to say 9. We're going to say a 0.001. Yeah, that looks good. And then we're going to say you need to be material 1. We're going to say, take the object, set origin back to the 3D cursor. We're going to mirror it this way. And mirror that away. And we're going to mirror this away. And now we have those reinforced edges, but they look like they're just like, they're melded perfectly onto that. Now we do want to say, no, not that one, but this one. We want to take this edge and this edge, and we want to mark those as a seam because we're going to want to take these faces here and make those the darker material. So there we go. Now we've got that. Now we've got that modeled good. That looks good. I like the way that looks. But it's way too clean. It is way, way, way too clean. It is drastically too clean. So we need to fiddle with our shaders here. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in a Musgrave texture. And we're going to make it based off of the object. And then we're going to take our color ramp. We're going to drop you into there. We're going to say, hey, you need to be... Okay, so the white needs to be there. So now, see, we're starting to get that roughness a bit. But we need to ramp up the detail. And I think we need to take the dimensions down, if I remember right. Yes. So, yeah, just to the point where we're starting to get a little bit of patchiness. And then we're going to ramp up the black. I just realized we actually are going to want that inversed a bit. So we're actually going to want this hex code on here. Well, actually, you know what? Let's see something. So saturation 000. So let's try this 0.1. I mean, 0.1 looks pretty good. What if we take it down to 0.05? So now we've got a really noticeably dark black. Or at least darker. And we can crunch that up a bit. So that we've got fewer specks and stuff like that. And we can actually... Now, if we mess with the scale and we drop the scale down... It's going to be, yeah, we're kind of making them further apart. But I like that. That looks like what they've got there. So, all right. We're going to say you at 0.975. Now we're going to want to say, we're going to want to Control-Shift-D to duplicate that, but with all of the connections to whatever is behind it. Now we're going to want... This one we're going to actually want all the way white. And this one we're going to want mostly light, like 0.95 maybe. And that's going to go into the metal. So now that it's kind of painted metal... Why is there a strip there? Oh, because that's part of the actual like grid, the floor grid. So now if we look at it, yeah, see it's a little bit more metallic in that. Let's say 0.9. Let's say 0.9 for that. This one all the way up. What happens if we say take that to like 0.75? I mean, it's still mostly metal. I don't know. I think 0.9 is probably as much difference as we're going to want as far as the metal goes. Now Control-Shift-D to duplicate that again. And we want this at a 0.4. So we want the back one to be 0.4. So all the dark spaces are going to be 0.94. Whereas all the lighter colored spaces are going to actually be a 0.25. So when we plug that into the roughness... Now you can see as that's basically kind of where it's chipped away, and it's kind of chipped and scratched away. It's showing perfectly shiny metal underneath it. And we've got little specks and stuff in there, and it's just really nice. Really nice. Now to really pump it up, really make it extravagant. Let's hit Control-Shift-D again. But we're going to want you moved out a little ways because we're going to need to put in a bump node. And we're going to want this back number at 0.5. And this front number we're going to want down to a 0. We're going to pump that into the height. We're going to pump that into the normal. And now you see it's kind of got this bumpiness to it. So it's kind of like, you know, you can actually see that, hey, that layer is up above that. But it's got a bit too much of a lip for me. So we're going to say 0.975. We're going to take this down to 0.978. Or maybe 0.976, so that it's just like it's a one spot difference. So yeah, see now there's a little bit of a height difference there. Now if we take this back number and we say pump that up to a pure white, that's going to make that difference. That's going to make that starkness a bit more noticeable. So now it's really got this look of, hey, there's, you know, this is painted metal that's been chipped away. You know, and it's not like there's a whole massive, but now if we want more, if we want to increase that, we can increase the scale so that it's a bit more noticeable. And as we increase the scale, they're gonna be smaller but more frequent. But I think a 3, maybe a 2. I think 2 looks good. 2 looks really good. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take all of these, we're going to copy them, and we're going to paste them into our normal metal. Now for this, we're going to want this back one needs to be there. This front one we're going to make completely white because I'm pretty sure this is 0.8 still. So, and now if we drop that in, you're not going to see a whole lot of difference. I mean, there is a little bit of difference here as far as, like, you know, you can see some of the spots and stuff that are chipped and they're basically they're changing. They're a slightly different color, but the color isn't going to be the big thing here. So we're going to pump that into the metal, and we're also going to pump this into the roughness. Now once this gets into the roughness, that's where you're starting to notice the difference, because it's like, hey, it's kind of dull except for these patches that are just like really noticeably more shiny. And then if we take our normal map and we pump that in here, now it's really kind of got that pittedness. But with this upper level, I don't think we would need that. See, it should be just like these are areas that have been brushed or hit with something, so they've been buffed a bit more. So we say, take a look at this, and like I said, you can really kind of tell that difference. Now, if we take the color down, say from 0.8 to 0.5, well, now the color difference really comes into play too. I think I would like the patches a bit more, so we're going to take this down to 0.75, which means we need to do that for all of them. So now see, we've got this on the just the plain metal, we've got a really good amount of stuff that's just like, oh, hey, look, yeah, that's there. I think I'm going to bump this back up to 0.8 because it shouldn't be that much of a difference in color. It should be a difference of shininess. So you've got, you've got this kind of like this worn metal, but you've got certain areas where something's kind of eaten away at the outer roughened layer and is exposing that brightness, that shininess, if you will. The really bright shininess of the pure metal. And I might take this down to 1 so that it's not just like blending directly into everything else. So yeah, there's our first box. Now, their box, I mean, I guess their metal is pretty dark. Let's take a look at the side view here. Like, their metal is pretty dark and has a lot more scuff marks and stuff, and those are actually, looks like they may be duller. So, you know what? Let's go ahead and take this back down to a 0.5. That looks about right. Maybe might even need to take down like a 0.25. That's a bit too dark for me. 0.35 maybe. That still a bit much. I still feel like that's a bit much. Maybe 0.4 or 0.45. Okay, 0.45. I like the look of 0.45. Now we are going to change these, so this one should so the shininess, this one should be right 0.4, yes, but this one should actually be like 0.6. Maybe 0.5. 0.45? So now it's actually a little bit grungier, it's a little bit harsher. It's actually flatter. It doesn't reflect as much. You know what? We'll do it to 0.4. We'll do it to 0.6. And we'll actually darken this. Okay, so our color is 0.45. So we're going to take this down to like 0.7 maybe. Yes, that looks... Could you see how it's just kind of like this duller, slightly brighter gray? But yeah, I like how that looks. I really like how that looks. So we're not going to do anything with the bump, because again, it's just metal. It is literally just metal. So let's make sure to apply all of our stuff, and then we're going to say U2, Control J to join. So now it's all one object, and we're going to say put in a mesh plane. I'm going to say grab on the Z. Down. We're going to expand this out so that we're really catching the shadow here. And we're going to turn on the shadow catcher. And we'll go ahead and grab a screenshot here. So F12 to go do a screenshot. Now those inner curves on the bottom may be a bit much. those may be a bit much, honestly. So, that's weird. Okay. Let's go ahead and hide this. And we're going to go ahead and see about grabbing these faces. And we're going to use proportional editing. And we're going to say sphere. Say grab on the Z, but we're going to say... All right. See, yeah, that's all gonna be just like, oh man, because we would need to do all of these too, wouldn't we? So yeah, maybe that's a little bit much. We may have needed to take this down. Right, proportional editing off. We want to say scale you on the Z so that you're less. Yeah, we actually could do that. We actually could adjust these. We just need to say grab all of these as well. So boom. We're gonna get rid of those. Whip pan around here. We're going to grab all of these. And we're going to get rid of this stuff up top here. I'm going to go inside and make sure we've got everything. All right, looks like we do. So now we can say... We're going to scale these on the Z so that they're less of an extreme. And we're going to grab on the Z down to there. Now if we bring back in our plane... So now if we take a look at that... Oh, I like that much better. It's not as severe as the other. It's not as severe of an input of a slice in on the bottom. I like that a lot better. I like it a lot better. So yes, there's box 1 is done. Now it does look, you know, admittedly it does look quite a bit different than like in game. But yeah, this is how they're supposed to look. And then, you know, we could actually come in here and we could say, all right, I want to say all those linked parts. Those linked parts. Now we're going to take all of this. Oh, wait, I forgot. You can't just start selecting link parts when you've already got something selected. Because this is always adding. So now if we say separate by selection, and we say object, we have a lid, which means we do need to add in a cube that fits in side of this, just inside of this. So boom. And we actually want to take this face, delete that face, select this edge, grab Z, nail that down to here. Now we want to take that edge, this edge, and this edge. And we're going to remove that for right now. Go from a top view because we need to make sure to bevel this. Let's apply the scale. Now we say bevel. We need to change the shape to 0.5. And looks like this is a less of a bevel, so there. Now we want to say that and this. Oh wait, no, first we need to actually join the two. And now if we say, what is it, tools? No, edit, loop tools. If we say bridge, no, okay. What if we just say fill? All right, fine. So there, and we want to say oh wow, this is just being a pain. All right, fine. We're just gonna say you. Just gonna extrude you. No. Alt E. All right, fine. Now we're just gonna scale you out. Okay, wow, that bevel was way too much. All right, fine. All right, So bevel. That looks better. Alt-E, extrude the edges, scale them. All right, that looks pretty good. It's a little bit off, but whatever. Oh. All right, so object you and you and join. And that looks pretty decent. It does have a little bit of a problem as far as like this edge here. So we can about like that, scale on this X. All right, that's good enough. So now we actually have like a box with a lid. Now the lid does have just like, you know, the lid is just kind of like this, yeah, it's just boom, hey, there you go. But I mean, it's still, I like it. I like it. It looks good. So we'll say lid 1. So there we go. Now we're going to say parent. So now when we grab you and we say move this, everything moves with it, but we can grab the lid and just be like, oh, hey, there you go. And we're actually going to say grab that lid. We're going to say set origin based on the volume. And we're going to do just kind of like rotate it on the Y here. And basically we're just going to set it so that it's resting on the plane. So you need to come out on the X a bit so that you're not actually clipping. And there we go. I like that. All right. So we're just going to take a snapshot of that so that we've got, hey, look, it's not just... It's not just this, you know, it's not just a box with a lid. It actually, you know, a closed box that's just simple. No, it's actually a functional box. One thing that I did just realize... Well, a couple things here. Let's Make it so that we can see the face orientation. Okay, yep, see. So say flip those normals. Now, see, that's better. Now it's a full normal box. Now the lid is still kind of a little wonky, but in theory, if we just add in a solidify modifier, a thin solidify modifier should solve all those problems. So yeah. Doesn't look like it messed up anything. Good. So we want to say you. Also do a solidify modifier. Apply. You. We want to say take you. Everything that's linked there. We're going to say mesh. Normals. Flip. And now we are seeing a little bit of yellow around those edges, but that's fine. Now with those, we actually want to make those the darkened material. So now if we take a snapshot, now see it's that the interior of the box is the same color and everything as the exterior the exterior part. The exterior of the interior part of the box. And if that isn't confusing, I don't know what the fuck is. But yeah, I like the way those look. Those look damn good. So now I'm going to do another screenshot, but this one I'm going to do it up at 4 times the resolution. Or 4 times the number of... The 4 times the number of samples, so it will get a lot more detailed. Now, of course, it'll take a whole lot longer, too. And we could add some wear along the edges and stuff like that. And I suppose we should add some wear along all the edges, but you know, for right now, this is good. All right, so there is our high def image. Let's see here. We're going to go ahead and save that there. Now that did take about an hour and a half. I mean, it looks like a simple box, but there is a lot to it. There are a lot of little details, a lot of things to work out. But I think those look like, you know, fairly realistic boxes. And it's like, you know, you have the grunge and the grunge on the darker material, the material that looks like it's been painted black. You have you know, the actual paint layer is chipping in, whereas the exterior metal just looks like it's got corrosion and stuff. Like something kind of like almost stuck to it. I suppose with that, we actually could come in here. I mean, we could do we actually could do the difference in the layer and have that the gunge on top. Almost kind of like it's sap or something that's stuck on top of it. So let's say do that. So now, the gray material we are going to want at 0.5. And this other material we're going to actually want at 1 so that it's going up. See, that's the thing is with a height map, with a bump map, like 50%, 50-50 mix of black and white is even. Anything darker is going to look like it's dug in. Anything brighter is going to look like it's popping out. So if we pop this in to the normal, now you see how that white grunge type stuff looks like it's just, yeah, it looks like it's really, really just stuck on there. If we kind of ease that out, we can grow that or just kind of leave it as is. I think we're going to do 0.75. And we're going to make the white just kind of like this thick layer of something that's on there. And we could go to like ease. So that it's not as you know, solid. We could actually we could leave it up so that it looks like it has a little bit of roughness on the outer edge and stuff. So it looks like it's something like mud or something that's splattered onto it. I actually kind of like that. So all right. So there we go. That is, you know, those are our crates for tonight. And that's where we're going to end for tonight, I think. It's like I said, it's a bit of a trudge to try and figure out little things here and there, but once you get it, man, it can look really, really good. You know, I don't know about that starkness. I think just having it like kind of like splattered mud that's just like something caked on there. Oh yeah, I like that. So anyway, yeah, like I said, I think that's where we're gonna end for tonight. That's just a really good place to end. It looks good. It looks good and stuff like that. I'll render out another high def image and post it up on Twitter and the Discord server and stuff like that. As always, thank you guys very much for watching and struggling and watching me struggle through this. If you like the video, don't forget to hit the like button. If you're new here, don't forget to prod the subscribe button. If you want to be kept up to date of when we go live and stuff like that, make sure to ring the bell and click on all the social media stuff down below, the Facebook page, the Twitter account, the Tumblr account, and the permanent invite for the Discord server. I always make sure to post there when we go live, like tomorrow at about 7:30. We're going to be back with more of the Outer Worlds. And then Friday, we're going to have Pirates of the Geek Vortex at 9:15. So yeah, make sure you have all the notifications and stuff like that on. All that so that you can stay tuned for more from Love Productions. Here we go.